The elevator dinged at 6:03 a.m. and I stepped out already knowing the war was over. "Start grooming Elias for your chair," Victor said, not looking up from his phone. "We're calling it a strategic handoff." Strategic. The word tasted like rust. I'd forged this analytics wing from a closet with 2 laptops and a dream. Nights I never billed, birthdays I ghosted, pipelines I coded while the city slept. Victor had toasted me in front of the board, promised the keys to the kingdom. Now he wanted me to polish the throne for a kid who still used Comic Sans in pitch decks. I gave him the nod he expected, honored to pass the torch. My pulse, though, was already dialing the detonator. I met Victor in the lobby of a startup incubator 12 years earlier. He wore sneakers and ambition. I wore hunger and a freshly minted data science degree. "Stay close, Riley," he said, "and we'll own the skyline." I stayed. I debugged his disasters, rewired his forecasts, turned furious investors into evangelists after his gaffes. He nicknamed me the Closer. Loyalty, I learned, is a currency that inflates until a cheaper intern prints more. Elias arrived smelling of business school cologne and blind obedience. He parroted Victor's buzz phrases, scheduled synergy huddles at 7 p.m., and screen captured my whiteboards for reference. I clocked the drift early. My calendar invites evaporated. My signature deals were rebranded under Elias's login. The betrayal crystallized in a Slack DM meant for the COO. "Riley's too much architect, not enough follower. Elias is the scalable face we need." I screenshotted it, saved it beside the offshore backup I'd started the day I smelled smoke that I didn't rage. I architected. For 3 weeks I mirrored compliance. Walked Elias through dashboards while burying Easter eggs only I could hatch. I rerouted critical API keys to a shadow server, seeded dummy. Reports that looked identical to the real ones, and encrypted the master dataset with a 256-character passphrase inspired by my childhood dog's vet records. Victor piled on deliverables, mistaking my calm for capitulation. The guillotine fell on a Tuesday. Victor cornered me by the espresso machine. "Shape up the transition or ship out." I slid a single sheet across the counter, termination letter, effective immediately, access fob taped to the corner like a cherry on poison. "Ship me, then." His latte trembled. "You're committing career suicide." I smiled. "Already survived yours." I left before security could escort me, took the stairs 2 at a time, and by sunset had filed LLC papers for Apex Pulse Analytics from a co-working loft in the meatpacking district. The first tremor hit 48 hours later. Elias couldn't regenerate the quarterly churn model. The script demanded a token he'd never been given. By Friday, the CFO was on a warpath. 42% of subscription revenue lived in a black box only I could open. Victor tried brute-forcing my old credentials. The system locked him out and emailed me a smirk in the form of a login alert. Then the phone rang from Singapore. The whale account, half the firm's ARR, skipped Victor entirely. "We fund results, Riley, not org charts. Build us a new home." I didn't poach. I simply accepted the contracts they overnight. One by one, the marquee logos followed the signal, not the noise. For months later, the board pulled Victor's parachute. The company restructured into oblivion. The office furniture sold for pennies on Craigslist. Victor's LinkedIn went dark except for one post. A grainy photo of an empty corner office, captioned "New Beginnings." I left it on read. 15 months after the elevator ding, I'm on the 42nd floor of a tower I financed myself. The city glitters below like data points I finally own. My phone buzzes sometimes with an unknown number. I let it ring. Silence is the only NDA I trust. People warn that vengeance hollows the victor. They're half right. What fills the hollow is sovereignty. Knowing the empire you raised can't stand without the rebar you quietly removed. Victor taught me allegiance without equity is just indenture with better lighting. I didn't torch his castle. I simply stopped paying the electric bill and watched the darkness do the rest.